Welcome to another show. I have a great guest today. Today I have with me Mr. Bruce A. Johnson, who is running for Prince George's County State's Attorney. Mr. Bruce Johnson is a former PG prosecutor. He's handled over 150 jury trials. He has 20 years of trial experience in Maryland, D.C., Virginia, on the federal and state level. He was a JAG officer or prosecutor and defended military cases. Welcome to the show again, Mr. Bruce Johnson.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming, man. I want to get right into it. I know that we have a lot of people that's eager to call in today and speak with you and get an understanding as to why you are running for state's attorney. So let's start off with my first question, which is, and I need people to understand, what is the role of a state's attorney?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because I think there's a lot of perhaps confusion and lack of understanding as to what the state's attorney does. He or she guides the office. He or she sets policy. He or she trains new attorneys, affects hiring decisions, works with different levels of police departments, state, federal, municipal, local, and first and foremost, they should be a trial attorney.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, that's what the office does. It pursues cases and it protects citizens from false charges. So, in my view, the state's attorney does a dual role. He or she not only pursues justice, but defends and protects it. Anyone that's familiar with that courthouse knows that there's a faulty screening process in the state's attorney's office.
Okay.
Many people are charged week in and week in district court, have to pay a bond, they're locked up, pay a lawyer, all for a case that should have never been brought, all for a case that was never effectively screened. It starts at the top. It starts setting the tone about how we're going to screen cases, how we're going to make decisions about charging. That's what the state's attorney does. He or she sets the policy, guides and directs the troops on how to pursue cases and how to judge cases and how to vet cases.
Great. So, well, you're a Prince George's County attorney as well. So you really understand from the standpoint of that you try cases in Prince George's County. So you see this, and you see this day in and out where guys are being charged that should not be charged. Now, as state's attorney, you're saying that you would properly look at the charges and make a determination on whether or not charges should be dropped. At what point in the process?
That's an excellent point. It starts from the police officer's interaction with citizens on the street. That state's attorney has a set policy. He or she has to have credibility with the police department. Police department has to know and believe that that trial attorney, the top prosecutor, knows what he or she's doing. They have to be able to trust them with cases. They have to be able to respect them enough where if that state attorney says, we're going to back off on these types of cases, or I'm not going to pursue cases where XYZ is done, they have credibility. Right now, the only candidate other than me that's in the race has never tried any significant case, not even a speeding case. But she'd be overseeing office of 200 trial attorneys, investigators, paralegals, administrators, all designed to pursue and protect cases, but she has no idea what that involves.
Okay.
You would never see that in any other profession. You wouldn't have a person run the military, a lead military officer who'd never been in the military.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have a person run a police department that's never served as a police officer.
Okay.
You wouldn't have a person train and direct surgeons who've never been a surgeon. But yet, the establishment, quote-unquote establishment, has put forth to the people a person that with zero trial experience and trusted them with the safety of our community, and that I cannot stand by.
So just let me understand that you're saying that the candidate that has won the primary has zero trial, like never done not one trial?
Zero. I'm going to capitalize that and bold the underscore. Zero. She spent her entire life as a politician, and I think a trial attorney should run that office, not a politician.
Do you think that the state's attorneys that are in the office will respect a person who did not have prior trial experience?
The majority of state attorneys that I've talked to, assistant state attorneys, that answer is unequivocally no.
Okay.
And if you see what's happening to the office, 21 assistant state attorneys have left in 6 months. That hurts our community. I see it, but the average citizen wouldn't see it because he or she doesn't go down to the courthouse. But I see cases being dismissed or lost because they're lost in the shuffle. Deadlines are not met. Cases being signed to inexperienced assistant state attorney that don't know the history of the case or don't missing the deadlines, and it affects all of us. It affects the citizens. It affects the safety of our community.
Okay.
Just a couple months ago, a person was charged with sexually assaulting 3 family members, underage daughters. That case was dismissed. So
For what reason was it dismissed?
Not because of lack of evidence, but because deadlines were not met for the filings by the state's attorney's office.
Okay.
As quiet as it kept, it happens more often than it should.
So you mentioned something that I want to go back to. You mentioned that if you would set basically a policy within the state's attorney's office that charges that should not be charged are not brought. Now, do you think that that will cause friction between your state's attorney's office and the police department if they're bringing charges, because the police lock you up and they collect the evidence, right? And then they give the evidence to you all, well, the state's attorney's office, and you all will make a determination on whether or not you should bring a charge. Do you think that that will cause friction if these officers are out here doing their job, locking people up, and then they're turning around and the charges are being dismissed? Or the charge not being dismissed, they're not being pursued?
I think the police officers will be okay with it if they understand that the state's attorney has credibility. They understand the state's attorney's been in the war zone, has been tried tough cases. I personally, as an assistant state's attorney, went against some of the best defense attorneys in the county.
Okay.
The police officers know my reputation. I was aggressive. I handled some of the more violent cases in the county. Brian Sowell comes to mind, Sowell, who raped multiple women while on home detention. Totally changed the law in terms of ankle bracelets in the county. So they know that I'm going to be aggressively pursue and hold those accountable, especially in violent crimes. What's happened to me since being assistant state's attorney is that I've been seasoned as a trial attorney.
Okay.
Now I give you the best of both worlds. I've been on the defense attorney. I see how young black men are charged while someone not a young black man won't be charged. I see it happen all the time. I see a young black man may get a criminal record, but someone not young black won't get a criminal record for the same or similar charge. I see how state's attorneys give offers based upon a failure to pay ability to pay restitution. The guy whose father owns a business who can pay restitution within a couple of days, he gets his case dismissed. The guy whose father does not have the means to pay restitution right away and get the benefit of that deal ends up with not only conviction but jail time. That's a real live experience that I experienced, and it highlighted for me the unfairness in many ways of our system. Having been on both sides,
okay,
I can parlay to these young attorneys to make that assessment up front and be fair across the board, not based upon financial ability, but what's right, what's fair to that person going forward.
Have you ever led a office before with this amount of people that would be working under you?
I never led an office that large, but what I have done is run my own business for 18 years. Okay. And let me tell you, that is quite a challenge, and the ability to make payroll. to make hiring decisions, to make decisions when it's time to let someone go, how to make administrative decisions about budget and so forth. I think has groomed me to be in this position. Okay. Having been in the military and served my country, and having to work under authority, and also being given a chance to lead various soldiers in different situations has groomed me. The fact that I go to different jurisdictions, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, I see how different offices run. I see how certain policies can be effective and others are not. I'm vetted for this process. This position fits me. I'm not a politician. I'm a trial attorney, and I think a trial attorney should be running our state's attorney's office.
So let's talk more about your experience, because I really want to get this out to the people so that they can understand. Because what I hear from you, from what I hear you're saying, is that you are the most qualified person at this point because of your trial experience for so long, over 20 years.
Yes, sir.
Over 20-year trial experience. So give us detail into where did you go to college? Where did you get your degree? When did you start practicing in Maryland? And just run it down for us.
Much of the information can be found on our website, writeinbrucejohnson.com, but I'm happy to share that. I grew up in Prince George's County. I love this county.
Okay.
And let me just say, I don't have to do this. This is hard work running for office.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
I get pulled away from my family. I get pulled away from my practice. I have a thriving practice, 2 offices, both Clinton and Bowie.
Okay.
But I want to serve. I want to step up. I see a leadership void. Having grown up in Prince George's County, I love the county.
Okay.
And having to run as an independent, which I am, has allowed me to learn more about the county. And I love it even more now. I know different pockets of areas, and different walking and talking to people and sharing their concerns has motivated me even more to want the office.
Right.
After graduating from Sarasville High School, I went to college at Shippensburg University, Division II football player. Thereafter, I went to law school at Maryland. And then later on, I got a MBA from Johns Hopkins.
Okay.
And I think all that experiences helped groom me. In terms of the business side, I think the good part of my background is that I can run that office like a business and be more efficient with how it's being run than it's been run in the past.
Great, great. We're coming up on a commercial break, and I encourage people to tune in. I encourage you to vote. I encourage you to share.
Please vote.
I'm locked in, man. You know, because I know how tough it is to run a campaign. I did some volunteering, man, and I'm telling you, man, I tilt my hat to you guys.
And
when we get back, we're going to talk about the progress and the status of your campaign, because I know you had some legal issues that you had to go through, and I'm sure you want to share it with the people. Yes. So let's go ahead and run our first commercial. When we come back, we'll get into the progress and status of Bruce Johnson's campaign.
Thank you.
Well, I got a life story. I was a drug addict.
Depressed.
Hit rock bottom. Sold drugs.
Homeless.
Commit crimes.
I was in prison.
I began using when I was about 8 years old. I stole a lot from my community.
I understand about being homeless. I understand about being addicted to drugs, because I was both.
Thugging the market, using drugs.
On welfare.
I lost everything.
I got shot.
I said, this is time for me to stop. Do I want to live or do I want to die?
I went into treatment, but I didn't know what to do, how to move forward.
I came to DC Central Kitchen. Man, this is a wonderful place to be.
It empowered us. I have my family back in my life.
It made me a better person, made me a better father.
I'm on my way to college.
Oh, I choose to work instead of being out in the street.
And now I became the man that I always wanted to be.
I'm Larry Hogan. I want to take a minute in support of my important ballot initiative.
The governor's referring to what's been dubbed a lockbox ballot initiative. It's aimed at using all casino revenue going to the state for K-12 education. But his bill died in a committee. The governor's lockbox would have been created by a statute and subject to change. The measure that did pass and that the governor signed is a Democratic proposal. As a referendum, it now goes before the voters this November to decide, and if it passes, the initiative will be part of the state constitution.
This proposal helps us end educational inequality.
The governor's office already has the power to level the playing field. Casino revenues have outpaced education spending for years. But instead of dipping into that revenue, the governor and his predecessor have used the funds to pay other bills.
This proposal helps us end educational inequality, boost school safety, teachers' salaries, and school construction.
The bill does not specifically mention school safety funding, but it doesn't prohibit it either.
We're already funding our schools at record levels.
Funding at record levels is mandated by state law.
Vote yes on the Hogan Lockbox Initiative.
But it's not Governor Hogan's Lockbox Initiative. His bill died in committee. This is a Democrat proposal the governor's trying to take ownership of.
He's the son of 2 Maryland school teachers, Ben Jealous, Rhodes Scholar, who turned around the NAACP when its finances were in tatters, restoring its prominence, nearly doubling its revenue. Named Marylander of the Year, businessman and venture capitalist, Ben's helped grow over 20 companies, creating over 1,000 jobs. Ben Jealous. His plan, Medicare for all, to lower costs and prescription drug prices, fully fund public schools, increase teacher pay. Ben Jealous, a job creator with a plan to invest in small businesses. The Baltimore Sun said Jealous has the stature and gravitas to lead Maryland. Ben's endorsed by teachers, nurses, and business leaders.
I've spent my life pulling people together to get big things done. We can do much better on jobs and education, on healthcare, but it means that we got to believe in each other.
Ben Jealous, Governor.